in my life now. Whether near or far, I wanna be where you are. And you're like a rose that blooms in my garden, innocent and sweet, my love, you are. But one thing I know, girl, loving, 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 loving you is easy for me to do, baby. And I will feel this way till the end of time. Even though you heard this 1,000 times, it's the truth. Oh, baby, you and I together for always. Baby, I breathe every single breath for you, baby.
Welcome.
So
Go ahead and
now-
see. We're gonna welcome Tristan
So
into
now-
our
Happy birthday,
Tristan's
Tristan.
birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday,
Shout out.
Tristan.
Tristan
Yes.
Nichols.
Came
He
in with
is
a
the
drink.
neighborhood player, he thinks.
Wow.
We're welcoming him.
We ain't gonna do all that. Let the brother
Welcome
introduce
to
himself
the-
first.
okay,
Go
so
ahead.
introduce
See how they
yourself.
do? See how they do?
Ooh, you looking buff? Okay.
My
Come
man,
on.
happy birthday, bro.
All right,
Yeah, man,
DC.
That's what we needed, some more play up in
name is,
here.
Okay, beards up in here. And look.
Okay, here we go. Thank you guys, man, so much for inviting me here. Yeah, my name is Tristan Nichols, and I am from Washington D.C., Southeast, really Northeast. And I'm here just to listen, see what's going on, get my point of views and things, and see what happens. Don't pay me no mind. My words are slurring because I've been drinking. It's my birthday.
It's her birthday.
Happy
And
birthday.
let's just get it on.
Podcast.
Let's turn up a little sunshine and stay blessed, stay happy, stay positive. Let's keep this arrangement beautiful. Got two beautiful women right here I'm looking at.
No. Okay, so we're gonna move
Yeah.
on.
No,
wait.
First,
First, Tristan, give a little bit of background, like your upbringing, like your family structure.
well,
Yeah,
married,
family structure.
single.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm from Washington, D.C. Like I said, Southeast, Northeast. My father lived in Northeast. My mother lived in the Southeast. So I grew up in two different parts of the city growing up. Me and my sister. And we just was building, growing. I went to H.D. Woodson. She went to H.D. Woodson. Then after that, she got a scholarship to go to a good school up Wisconsin Avenue. I've been drinking, like I said, Wisconsin Avenue, called the Field School. So she went to the Field School. Then after the Field School, she got accepted to go to Norfolk State. There she became a lawyer. After a lawyer, she became a director of movies, and now she will be featured in the new Power series coming up this year. So, like, she went from a lawyer to an actor.
Yeah.
Let me talk about me now.
Yeah.
Mr. Nichols. I have a wild story. So,
So your family structure, your parents, were they married? Were they?
They was married. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely was
still
married.
They were married.
Are they still married today?
Mentally, okay.
Mentally married.
Okay.
Or they still are married today? Okay, so go.
No, they're not married, but they're mentally married.
Okay.
Like, they wish they never would have broke up.
Okay.
Okay,
And
I
all
got
that,
it.
you know,
No one
so-
wants that. Okay.
Now, can we do this one thing for Mr. Nichols
Well,
today?
I mean, listen.
What we doing?
Can we sing Stevie Wonder?
All
Happy
right.
birthday.
Yeah.
Let's get this over with. And let's turn the fuck up. Bitches!
Hey, yo, who started off? Happy birthday to you. Hey.
Happy birthday. Happy
Right,
birthday to you.
Drunk motherfucker, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hey!
Happy birthday.
Happy
That was a good.
That was great. You wanna
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
you wanna close out? You wanna close out?
Is it open?
So I grew up in upstate New York, and I had kind of a dual. I went from projects, welfare, foster homes, and hood and stuff to I went to a foster home that was like in the upper middle class white neighborhood, and my parents were a minister and his wife, and I grew up from 10 years old. From prior to 10, I was in like total dysfunction, and then after 10, I was in like a nuclear family, a Christian family, husband and wife. And I had a whole different example from 10 until 18. So by the grace of God, I had an actual man of God who was a husband of one wife, who married his wife when he was 22. She was 18. They was both virgins. They had 4 kids. They adopted. They had 3. They adopted 3 kids. They raised 21 foster kids, and I was one of those kids. And so I got this incredible example of a man and a father at a critical point in my life. And, but for, the grace of God, I might think like other people do, but I saw this phenomenal example, and that's what I want in my life. The type of marriage that they had, like they had a phenomenal marriage, men and women. A guy who was like, and he loved his wife. She had hat boxes from the floor to the ceiling, shoe boxes from the floor to the ceiling.
Do you think that exists today? Do you think that love, what you're mentioning, do you think it exists today?
Absolutely, it's in me. I'm waiting for it. I want it.
I'm here.
I want it.
I'm here.
But I got to be equally yoked. How can 2 walk together? So when they be like, because she wouldn't run over her husband, she respected her husband, and he cherished his wife.
And
so when you don't see men cherishing their wives or women respecting their husband, it's a problem. I can't sign up for that.
From Kelvin. Thank
man,
you, Rob.
with the L.
With the L.
Big L.
Yeah.
Big L.
All right,
Favorite tribe.
All right. So I'm Kelvin. I'm from Atlanta. A little bit of Atlanta down south, dirty. A little bit about my family structure. I didn't have my parents were married, but when I was young, they divorced. So I didn't really see, or I can't remember the marriage structure, but I do remember spending time with both my parents growing up. And neither one of them were married like all the way up until I was grown, and so I never really seen the marriage structure. But I definitely seen like the father structure and the mother side, both sides of the coin. I had a lot of mentors growing up, so other male father figures and things like that. But as far as like the actual marriage component, it wasn't really there. And so that's why my viewpoint is a little skewed in a lot of traditional, because I believe that even if you're not in a traditional marriage, like your family structure and your guidance can still be developed.
Nice. See, look at you keeping it short and
Amen.
sweet. I'm Tori, and I'm from Chicago, and so
Chi-town.
yes, Chi-town. Yes, we keep a gun. So my parents. So I'm the youngest of 5. Let me start with that. And so when I say I'm the youngest of 5, literally my 4 siblings were born. My oldest sister were almost 20 years apart. The sister next to me were 10 years apart. So I was not planned. My parents probably were like, they were still having relations, clearly. But my parents met. They lived in the same small town in the South. And I'll tell this quick story. My father was in 3rd grade. My mother just started the school. His little best friend was like, oh, there's some new kids getting off the bus, and I saw a cute girl. And so my father was like, they ran over to the fence, and my mother had on a red raincoat because it was raining that day. And this was in Arkansas. And so he said he saw my mom get off the bus with my uncle, her little brother. And he said right then and there, he said, oh, that's my wife. This is the story my father told me. Man. My father is 82 years old. So my parents were married for 31 years. My mother transitioned. I was 13 years old when she transitioned. But at the time that she died, they had been married for 31 years. So I came into a household that was already well established. They had already been married for 19 years. Yeah. Right? So, they were... that's why I messed up, because I watched rom-coms and I got them. Like, they went to prom together. But my mother also didn't like my father at first. So she, he had all these advances. And he was consistent. He was like, my mother was like, I don't like you, Lawrence Collins. That's my father's name. And my father was like, oh, but you will. And eventually she did.
She grew to love him.
And so he moved to Chicago to live with his sister to find work, because he decided not to go to college at Philander Smith. So he moved to Chicago because he was like, I need to make me some money because I need to start a family. That was his goal. And so eventually he found a job. He started working with a telephone company. They put him through school. My mother was in Indiana. And so she was going to a teacher's college. He went back home to take my cousins back home to visit their grandparents. He saw my uncle, my mother's brother, and he was like, "Where is your sister?" He was like, "Gary, Indiana." So he gave her the address. My uncle gave her the address. My father started writing letters. I wish I had the letters because I know he got some misspelled words, and I would, clown him on those. But he started writing letters. Eventually, he would take trips to Indiana. Chicago and Gary, Indiana are fairly close. They would have dates. They were doing a pen pal thing. It's like social media, dating with,
I get it. He was focused.
Yeah, so he was focused because he knew he was like, that's my wife. He's third grade. That's my wife. So, so that's my background. And, I saw a great relationship. My mother would get mad at my father, of course. I mean, I saw ups and downs, but it was always a situation where they came back together, and it was always about them.
I'm gonna say this to answer this question about why we're not getting married. Because when Tori said what she said about her father, it was crazy to me because my father did the exact same thing, walking to a church with his mother, seeing my mom playing the organ, and turned to his mother immediately and said, "Mom, God said that's my wife."
But how old was
he was 22.
Oh,
he had never seen her in his life. He turned to his own mother and said, "Mom, the Lord said that's my wife." And then at the end of the church service, he went up to her, and the first thing he ever said to her in his ever meeting her was, "How you doing? My name is Calvin Nash. The Lord said you're my wife." And she said, she laughed in his face. And he said, "The Lord said you're my wife. Would you like to go have a cup of coffee?" And she laughed in his face and said, "Well, if the Lord said it, I guess I could have a cup of coffee with you." And they got married 4 months later.
Wow.
But the man was, the point that I got to was, marriages aren't happening because men aren't choosing to get married. And then so you really, to answer the question, you got to ask, why are men choosing not to get married? And the reality, though, and I will say about myself, I met a woman yesterday in the gym, and I promise you, I had one conversation with this woman. I was like, oh, yes, I would marry that woman. It was one conversation. To this moment, I've only had one conversation with a woman. I was seeing her one time, and I know for sure that she is definitely a contender.
So can I say one thing, though?
How is it that I knew that? And it was because, not because she was fine, it's because she was so sweet.
No, can I say one thing, though?
Something about her energy.
Her energy.
No, can I say one thing, though?
Let's frank talk. Let's frank talk.
Go ahead.
No, so because I gave you the $250 referral to get you to move here, so if you get married to someone that you met in the gym here, you owe me $250.
I gave you the $250.
I know you did. That's why I just said.
If you meet your wife, you owe Tanya some money. Or at least
I already paid for the apartment.
You at least need to give her a shout out at the reception.
If I run into that woman
wedding.
again, I'm gonna match the gas till she say stop.
Yeah, listen, go for it.
The gas?
Go for it. If you pray about it, if you pray about it and God actually told you,
again, I'm matching the gas. And the question that women should be, maybe might want to consider is, why is it that I know of one interaction with that woman, she's a contender? One interaction, one conversation, 10 minutes.
So to my father's point, he was young. He was in third grade. But I will say, you still know. And I will say, we tease my father because I call him Jesus' homeboy. Because, like, if he prays something, it happens. You know what I'm saying? If he asks God something, it happens. So I'm like, he's Jesus' homeboy. And also, I have a theory because, my mom died young. So I think things happen early on so that you can have the time that God needs you to have. You know what I'm saying? So,
but aren't you grateful that you had 13 amazing years?
Oh, she taught me everything. That's why I got a gun in life now, because she taught me that you always keep a weapon.
Because you walk with the hat to the back.
Mad about me.
Like, she's like, you, in every situation you adapt. You read the room. You know your audience. I'm walking in D.C. I don't know these streets. I'm from Chicago. We got a different type of crime. So.
Take a picture in the middle of the podcast, and my head is. Am I even seeing the picture? Yeah, I am. Okay. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you went.
Okay. All right, so let's get into it. I did not know that you lost your mother 13. My God, I have like a different. Gosh, because you're hard. No, I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you because I don't want people to feel sorry for me. And I barely have a job. Okay. All right, so that was, I mean, we'll talk later. All right. So for me, my mom, I'm the second child of a teenage mom. Okay. I don't talk much about my family. My friends know very little, only what I share because I'm very private about that part of myself. So my mom was 17 whenever she had me, but she had my older sister when she was 15. So my parents weren't together. So it was back and forth. They were young. I mean, I can only attribute that because both of them made mistakes, and I'm okay with that. It's great. But my stepfather came in, and that's actually my little sister's father, and he was amazing, great, everything I needed. He worked at the penitentiary in Jefferson, Missouri, where Jeffrey Dahmer was at, just so you know. Just great parents. They divorced. Some issues are going on with them, internally. So they divorced, and then he remarried. So he remarried this lady that killed him. My great stepfather raised me was murdered by his wife. Okay, no, we're not gonna talk about that so much. It's okay, it happens. So, well, that's a great topic later on. To talk about like whenever trauma happens to your family, how you deal with it. Because that's something I was young when I went through that. Okay, okay. So I love my father. My mom remarried to my great stepfather. Now they've been married for 20-something years. Amazing relationship. They fight, whatever. They argue real quick. So my mom has like a lot of mouth, and he does too. So great examples of men that I've seen. It doesn't matter that your father maybe have failed as a parent, because I'm a parent and I probably have failed 100 times over because I just didn't know how. That's another topic too. We'll write this stuff down. All right, so that's who I am in a nutshell. I'll move on to Frank. Mine was short because
I thought I already went.
Yeah, Frank already told us.
I mean,
so, so getting back to the topic, we're talking about why we're not getting married. We're young. You ain't that young no more, but some of us are young. Little Kelvin over here, younger.
Kelvin is the younger one. He's the younger one.
But yeah, what's the delay in us, getting like focusing on that, making that a primary focus?
Can I say something?
Sure, definitely.
It's
your birthday.
Yes, it is my birthday. To me, I promise Tanya I'll be blunt but laid back. To me, the focus is really on people really don't marry for love anymore. They marry. I said dirty. Yeah, I've been drinking.
You guys should
They marry.
Yes.
Murray.
Come on, D.M.V.
I'm still drunk. Some people don't mind. I'm Murray or Maury TV show for status for when it comes down to it. Really, like for real, like when it comes down to two people coming together, as I told Tanya earlier, like an hour and a half ago, love is a 4-letter word like piss and shit.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Like
Okay.
for real, love.
That's wild.
It's a 4-letter word like
Explain
piss
that a
and
bit.
shit. Like okay, let me break it down like to you. Like for real, the only woman that would ever love you unconditional is your mother. Even if she gives you up during my man's situation, she's still feeling that pain in the day if she's still here on this earth. Because know why? That's my baby. I got cousins out here doing wild things. I mean, acting like they Michael Myers, and their mother will be, and their mother will by their side and say, "Hey, that's my baby. He didn't do it." So when it comes down to it, back to our situation is your mother is the only person that would truly love you to the utmost, and all that. So let me get to.
Before because it's almost time. Can I see the microphone?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying only.
No, here you go.
Only
Well, Tristan is signing off.
Don't sign off.
Miss Tanya is signing on.
No, I'm not.
That's my alleged wife.
Okay, so everyone talks about this whole thing. We're such good friends. So only thing that I wanted to, just before we forget this part, is introduce this new podcast, and if it's okay.
My dad is from here. He's from Southeast. My mom is from Panama.
I probably know your father.
Okay. Probably know my father.
No, for real.
No, for real.
But
my dad is from here. My mom's from Panama. My mom moved to New York, and my dad had a friend that set my dad and my mom up. She was visiting from New York down here, and she was late to the party she was supposed to meet him at.
She was 2 hours late. He actually met another girl there. Got her number. Completely had like, all right, look, this is a done deal. He was leaving. She pulled up. Like while he was leaving, chasing down the street. Wait, I'm here. Like, yeah, I'm here. My mom had 3 kids.
When she met your father?
When she met my father, my mom had 3 kids.
Wow, interesting.
Wow,
and no, yeah, my 2 older brothers and my 2 older brothers have passed. My older sister Tammy. Yeah, my older sister Tammy, and now y'all know probably the younger one who's I call her Streety Pablo, but
she on the street.
she be out with me. Y'all think I'm out?
She's in the group.
No.
Have we met her?
Yeah, I think you had, but no, she had 3 kids when she met him, and he was there was something about her that was making him take these kids. Number one, he was driving from DC to New York to see her.
It's worth it.
And number 2, he was taking these kids to Disney World and Adventure World, and these kids ain't like him.
That's 17 hours.
Yeah, these kids ain't like him.
Down I-95.
So
he wasn't worried about the money neither.
And my dad will tell you there was something about, and when Rob talks about that, like you can tell, like there are things that women nowadays that have it, men feel it immediately. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I want to pursue this.
I know what this is, because it's not even the looks. The looks are great, the body is great, but there's something about certain things that men are like, you do that? Like there's certain things about women that speak life into you.
Oh, that was deep. My God.
There's
that was deep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's different. Because I can go out here and I can have the world on my shoulders. I could do that with them. I don't want to come and do it with you. If I have you behind me being like, yo, I dated this girl one time and I gotta every day I gotta be like, yo, I don't know how I was young and dumb. But if I look at this girl, I say, yo, sit right here real quick. I'm gonna hop over this building. She would look at me and be like, yeah, you can do that.
You feel it. You know, to be motivated. That's what you need,
man. And you know what?
Conquer the world with that motivation.
I just might. Like, yeah, I'm like, maybe
you for real.
Maybe I actually can do this shit. Like, maybe, like it's crazy. I had somebody call me the other day. I had somebody call me the other day. She said, I just had to call and tell you that I really appreciate you and the way you walk, and like I see how you move, and I think a lot of people don't see how hard you work. But I do, and I want you to know that something you said to me changed the way that I think about things. And now, I'm going about this way, and this is working out here, and like I just want to thank you.
Made you feel good.
Yeah. What? If I had a ring, man, I'd have been. Like, you know what? I'd have been like tomorrow.
Dudes want women that believe in them.
Then that's all you got to do.
Because when you believe in them, then they got the potential.
We'll handle the rest.
Yeah. Don't believe in
what would I not do
to make you happy?
They're taught not to believe in.
I'm still talking to my. Hold on. Let me do something like today. I did something very foolish, but I did it on purpose, just to see what would happen. This is Mr. Niggas out in VR, so I'm wild one. So I just text my ex that I supposed to marry like 3 years ago, and I just say, hey, meet me here at this time at this place. That's it. And it was a nice restaurant, and she hit me back, and she said, hey, I'm free that day, but you have to ask the gentleman. He just said meet me there. And I was going off of old energy. And I'm seeing that she's changing. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So I caught her on text, and I hit her back, called her up, and I said, hey, would you meet me at blah, blah restaurant this day, this time? And she said, yes, I will. Even though we're not dating, or she may be sleeping with another person, I'm sleeping with a person, she said, hey, it's levels to me now, brother. Right. Like, you gotta come like that. And I said, okay, cool. Yeah, definitely.
I don't like when people tell you the problem, but don't tell you the solution.
Yeah, don't bring a problem if you don't know how to
answer. And people be speaking the problem, and they don't tell you the solution. Now, my presentation of the problem, people didn't like that. You probably won't like my presentation of the solution. So the problem is that we think relationships are about money and sex, and the solution is that relationships are about commitment,
amen,
and submission.
Yes,
yeah. And so when my brother got married, I made a toast at my brother's wedding,
and probably pissed off people at the wedding because I do stuff like that. But I told them, listen, my daughter, because my daughter about to be 25, and I told her, listen, if she want to get married and she come to see me and say she want to get married, I'm only going to have 2 questions. I got 2 questions, one for her and one for him, and then I'm going to give him my decision. Right? There you go. I'm going to say very, very simple. First question is for her. It's not for him. Baby girl, if you with this man and y'all are in danger and y'all being pursued by people who mean to do you harm and you're running away, okay, and you get to a cliff and there's nowhere to go, and he says, baby, I got a plan, and you don't know what the plan is. He said, take my hand. He going first. He said, come with me. Let's go. And you have no idea how you're gonna survive, and you ain't got time. Would you go?
Got to if you want to get married.
That's the only question I got for my baby. Now this is my child. This is the one I love. Right. And that ain't no time to think, ain't no time to talk about it. He ain't got time to explain to you. He's leading you into a place that you don't see no way you can make it where you follow him.
That's faith.
Which is exactly what Frank was just talking about. When a woman has faith in you, she makes you something that you not even can't be by yourself. She makes you more than you are when she has faith in you. That's how powerful a woman's faith is. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. It's the same. And I don't want to get into that, but here's the point. So that's the question for her. If she says yes, I'm gonna have a question for the boy, for the young man.
Let's hear it.
If she says no, I'm gonna say I'm sure he's a very nice guy, but he ain't your husband. I'm gonna tell her right then. Now, if she says yes, I'm gonna say okay, boom, her part is covered. He come in here. I'm going to give him the exact same scenario. Say you had a plan to go off the cliff and you saw a branch and you was going to grab the branch and move along a ledge and get into a cave and get away. Something. That was your plan. Okay? So my baby girl follows you off a cliff onto a branch and you get to moving toward the cave and then the branch starts to pull away from the side of the mountain. And what you realize is that the branch cannot hold both of your weight. And the only way one of y'all could live is somebody gonna have to let go and die so the other one can make it. You die without let go. That's why, you gotta let go and say, baby, I'll see you in paradise. Let go and die so my daughter can live. Because that's your responsibility if she follow you off that cliff. And if I don't believe that, I don't care what he say, if I don't believe that he would die to save her life,
he gotta go.
Nice meeting you, brother. He can't get my blessing. That is 2 things I just described. She's submitted to his headship. She has faith in him, and he is committed to her welfare above his own. And the reason why women get mad or worried about submission is because they submitting to men who are not committed to their welfare above you. You should never submit to a man who's not committed to your welfare above his own. If he won't die for you, if he won't die for you, he's not worthy of submission. If he won't die for you, he's not worthy of submission. But if he will die for you, you are wrong to raise up against him. And you rebelling against a man who would die for you, you wild. And you don't deserve to be a wife. You ain't a wife. You're a woman. And that's why you can't get this ring from me. There you go.
All right, and Tristan, I thank you. You're the best. Happy birthday. And
thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys. And we will do this again. Rob, we love to have you here. Like, your perspective is amazing. Yes. Have a great night. This was great. So, Calvin, we can play this off. So
thank you.
All right.
Thank you. This is great.
All right. Until next time, tune in.
Tune in.